November the 30th, 2010, student protests in Bristol.
Brought to you by 8th Sense Media,
Afrotropical.
the voice of the streets.
So we're here with Tim Nelson, one of the organisers for the student protest which happened on the 30th of November 2010 in Bristol. And we're just basically here to get a few opinions. It's been out in the media, it's been out in the mainstream media, various clips over the internet have been brought out. And just firstly, what sort of information and feedback have you been getting?
As in from people?
Yeah, just from the people around you, yeah. So what feedback are you getting directly?
Oh, I think it's largely positive. I mean, I've spent a lot of time around University West of England lately during the occupation, and a lot of the staff, lecturers and students are fully behind the demonstrations. Also, I mean, I was down at FE College, City of Bristol FE College today, and again the feedback was very good. In terms of, if you look at the media, obviously the obvious one's Evening Post report, local paper report, which was very largely negative, often from the viewpoint of the police. And I think that it didn't really represent the experience of people who were on the demonstration.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's funny you should say that. We've posted it onto the Evening Post, so the clip that we had, and yeah, on there as well we had a lot of mixed views. Now, some of the comments were kind of expressing the feeling that the police weren't that bad on that day. I mean, you being there, top to bottom, how would you respond to that?
Well, I think I think the police behaved absolutely outrageously. For one thing, they from the beginning tried to stop us from marching. Almost straight away, they tried to block protesters. The response they did get was angry but peaceful. People were angry that the police were trying to stop them and insisting that they would march. And I think if the police had genuinely wanted just to ensure the demonstration went ahead in a peaceful way, all they had to do was speak to the people on the demonstration, speak to the organisers, and ensure that and then decide a route with them. Instead, they immediately came in physically to try and physically stop the demonstration. Mm-hmm. And that's going to produce an angry reaction, but it still didn't produce a violent reaction. The only violence I saw of the day was from the police.
Okay, there was some people, I mean, in the footage we see some young girls being manhandled by the police, and there were some comments that were basically saying if these youths think they're big enough to go out on a protest and they should expect that sort of thing. How would you respond to that?
Well, I don't think anyone is big enough or whatever, or old enough to be comfortable or to accept violence from the police or from the state. Apparently we've got the right to protest, we've got the democratic right to protest. And so when carrying out that right, why should anyone expect violence from the police, expect to be arrested or manhandled? And the other thing that suggests that young people aren't allowed to have opinions, aren't allowed to demonstrate, aren't allowed to take part in the political process. The same, I mean, the media have been talking for years about how young people are apathetic and don't care about politics, can't even be bothered to vote. But as soon as they try and exercise a democratic right, they tell them that they're not old enough to do that and they should expect discrimination from the police. So I think that's a stupid argument, to be honest. I don't know who posted it, but yeah.
It's out there now. Okay, I mean, there's some people, again, just going on the mixed feedback that we've been getting, there's some people who say that the students who are out on these protests across the UK are just causing a nuisance, and that actually all the money that it takes for the police to be there could be going on education. So are you not just continuing the vicious cycle?
Well, for starters, whether we demonstrate or not, according to the Tory plans, that money won't be going on education. We're planning to cut it, whatever. So I don't think it's as a result of this demonstration, students are going to get even less. I think most people recognise, or a lot of people realise, that unless there are protests, unless there's civil disobedience, unless the action's taken, then education will be cut. Already we're seeing the government the Lib Dems anyway, waver over whether to vote or abstain or even to vote against for this. That's as a result of the protests, the occupations of universities, stuff like that. The only way we're going to stop these cuts, not just in education but across the board, is through demonstrations and civil disobedience, because otherwise the government will just carry on without receiving any real opposition.
Okay, so you said that there's another protest happening, so do you want to give some information about that?
Yeah, that's on Sunday, this Sunday coming, and it's going to meet at College Green at 12 o'clock. The reason it's on a Sunday is we've had two really big demonstrations on weekdays. We think it's important. So not only is it not just school students and students that are affected by the cuts, everyone's been affected by the cuts. And we have had a number of people asking for a demonstration on weekends so they can come along because they can't because they've got work or whatever. So we're hoping this one's going to be the biggest yet, and it's going to represent a much wider movement against the cuts than just students.
Okay, cool. Nice talking to you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you after the next one as well.
Thanks so much.
Cool. Cheers.